So Karmelo's father takes to Facebook and says, today we received the official news that the Collin County District Attorney has indicted our son, your nephew, your friend, your neighbor, Drew Anthony wrote in part on Facebook. And I'm like, first of all, he is not our nephew. He is not our son. This is not a community child. This is your child. Grace and peace, you guys. Welcome back to Unshakable with April Chapman, where we discuss all things social, cultural, political, and theological from a biblical perspective. You guys, I am on location. I couldn't stay away. I had to record this video. So what I've been trying to do, I've been trying to stay up with current events. And y'all, I needed to just record a few words on the updated information with this Karmelo Anthony story. Now, I've covered Karmelo in the past, and while I'm out here working, I'm actually working on a documentary. I said, you know what? Let me just go ahead and get in front of the camera and say what I need to say, and then go on and go about my merry business. So let me first give you guys an update on what's happening with the Karmelo Anthony story. As you know, Karmelo Anthony was the 17-year-old who got into a, team kerfuffle with Austin Metcalf. This happened in Collin County, Texas, Frisco, Texas, to be more specific. And he most recently, the updated information is that he was indicted for first-degree murder. That happened just a couple of days ago. Now, right now, Karmelo is out on bond. He's out on bond. Initially, bond was set at $1 million. Then it got lowered down to $250,000. And everybody knows that what's making this story so outstanding is the fact that both families were raising money for the respective sides. So Karmelo's family had a GoFundMe or GiveSendGo, and also the Metcalf family also raised some money as well. So I'm here before you today because we have to talk about the inconsistent nature of the status of this GiveSendGo on the Karmelo Anthony side. So I was reading here on Sun News or the sun.com, and I'm trying to make sense of this. Now, y'all tell me if the math is not math, and I don't know about you, but for me, something seems a little weird. So I'm reading here that they initially raised $500,000 or probably a little bit more than that. And the Black community was really torn. You had a lot of conservatives who were like, wait a minute, I smell a rat. I see this pulpit pimp preacher knockoff of what's his name? Ultra Perm, Al Sharpton 2.0, speaking on behalf of the family. And we already smelled a rat. And when we noticed that they were trying to racialize this and make Karmelo Anthony seem the victim, a lot of us was like, you know what? I don't think I feel comfortable donating to this cause right now because something doesn't seem right. Then you had the woke justicians and the pro-blackity blacks. They were running to donate their money to this cause because to them, this was just the woe is me. Black man can't catch a fair break. Let's go ahead and donate money because, you know, white people bad, black people good. Well, now we're here because the father recently took to Facebook, and this is what the father had to say. So the father takes to Facebook and gives the news of the indictment, and then there's appeal for more money. So let me just go ahead and read that really quickly because that's the part that was really, really strange to me. So Karmelo's father takes to Facebook and says, today we received the official news that the Collin County District Attorney has indicted our son, your nephew, your friend, your neighbor, Drew Anthony wrote in part on Facebook. And I'm like, first of all, notice how they always try to appeal to the emotions and say your nephew. Now, this little boy is not our nephew, okay? We can have empathy and sympathy for the fact that this family is dealing with a case and their son may go away for a really long time. But let's be clear, he is not our nephew. He is not our son. This is not a community child. This is your child. But anyway, I just thought the framing of that phrase was really weird to me, because I felt like it was an emotional appeal or a manipulative way to pull at your heartstrings before he come and ask for some more money. So then he goes, "This is a moment we hoped we would never face, yet one we've been preparing for throughout these long and painful months." He then continues and says, "Now, as the legal process moves forward toward trial, we enter an even more intense phase, one that will demand everything from us emotionally, financially, and spiritually." Then the dad goes on to say, "So today we humbly ask, please consider making another contribution to the fund for Karmelo Anthony. Please continue to share it within your network. Please stand with us for truth, for justice, for our son." Now, here are a few things that I wanted to point out, because this is the second round of crowdfunding that this family has attempted to ask the public for. Now, initially, we were told that the money would be used to cover the family's relocation after repeated threats and public leaking of their address, also for living expenses, transportation costs, counseling, and more security. Now, what I found what was interesting is that initially we were told that this money was being raised for his legal defense, or at least that was the auspices that most people donated money for. They were thinking, black man can't get, a fair trial. Let's go on and put some money on his book so he could get like a Johnny Cochran level style lawyer. But the more that we heard from the Anthony family, particularly their representative, who most people assumed that Dominique Alexander character was like their legal representation. No, he was just the social justice, civil rights grifter that was speaking on behalf of the family. I knew right then and there that something wasn't right. But we were also told that this money was used for legal expenses. Well, now the second round of crowdfunding, they've increased the ceiling or the ask amount from $500,000 to 1.3. Let me get the specific amount. They're now asking for $1,396,725. I thought that was a weird amount to ask for. But my question is, you've already raised $500,000. Why are you now asking for more money when y'all thought y'all were donating money for his legal defense? What are all of these other expenses? What are you, the Kardashian family? I'm like, okay, so when I read here that you need all of this security, living expenses, transportation costs, counseling, more security, I think at this point, I'm thinking what most people are thinking is that this money that was raised they were not a good steward over the money that was raised. And here's the reason why I say that. Because now information has come out that Karmelo Anthony has filed for indigent status. Indigent means I'm poor. I don't have any income, any resources, any money, or any assets whatsoever to pay for my own legal defense. So therefore, I'm asking for indigent status, and for the most part, I need me a public defender. Why are you out here raising this much money and then you're filing indigent status? That doesn't make sense to me. It sounds as if possibly, now granted, he does have to get his day in court. Evidence does need to be reviewed and presented, and all of those things have to happen. The issue for me is the family constantly asking for money, yet filing with the court as if there is no money. And one of the main questions that need to be asked is, well, where's the money that you've already raised? Well, now they're finding out that people are not so quick to support based on the baby violin Sabsod story. People are just like, yeah, something's not right. The math is not mathing. We need for you to give an account for the money that you've already asked for. And since we have no idea what the heck you spent that money on, and there are a lot of street rumors going around, I won't repeat those rumors because I really do want to cover this story. I want to be fair. I want to be honest in my dealings. My purpose for covering this story is that this always happens whenever, instead of the community rallying around someone who is demonstrating to be of moral character, they're doing things on the up and up, and they legitimately need our support, why is it always the ones that we end up supporting are the ones that end up on the wrong side of the discussion? Why does it always seem as if there's bad character, a misuse of funds, there's an association with people who have demonstrated to have a criminal background themselves? Like, why is it that Black people, and this is just my opinion, why is it that Black people, we find ourselves supporting all of the wrong things and none of the right things? And then the things that we should be lending our support to, we're not interested in supporting that. So I'm interested to see how this is going to play out because Karmelo's been indicted. And there is video evidence that only a small segment of the news community has been allowed to review. They haven't been allowed to rewind it and zoom in and ask any questions. I believe the district attorney's office just showed it and then they're moving on because it is a part of an ongoing investigation. But I really do believe this is probably going to end up an example of the Black community rallying support behind a family who is playing on the emotions and the ethnic loyalty that Black people tend to lend themselves to for the wrong causes. And I just, at the end of the day, I really do believe that this family is playing the Black community for a fool. They've been played by Dominique Alexander, and then them and the family is playing the Black community. And at the end of the day, somebody's going to walk away with $500,000 or more richer in their pocket. And this boy is probably going to be found guilty of first-degree murder, and he's going to spend a considerable amount of time in jail. That's just how I believe that this is going to pan out, because there are too many details surrounding this that don't make sense. I did want to note that there is some ongoing misinformation that the authorities, including the FBI, have had to sort out. There's been fake social media accounts established, doxing, swatting, death threats. There have been all of these other things that have been happening. And in the meantime, we still have the Metcalf family that still is grieving the loss of their son, but that is being overshadowed by the fact that there is some sort of shady dealings with the money, with the family associated with the one who's allegedly guilty of perpetrating the crime. Like, we should not have these kinds of questions surrounding what this family has done with the money. Why are you filing indigent status? Either you're broke or you're not. Either you've spent all of the money in the GoFundMe or you've used it to pay for the things that you said it was used for. And if that's the case, what happened to his legal defense? Because if he's going to end up with a public defender, what was the point of raising all that money? Like, what are we out here supporting? I didn't donate no money to the fund because I just wasn't going to do that. But I have questions. I'm going to continue to follow. I'm not going to be a serial stalker on this story, but I am keeping my eyes to it, because the moment I smell a derivative of the National Action Network, it's got grift and pulpit pimpery written all over it. I'm just saying. I did not get a good feeling from Dominique Alexander the moment that man opened up his mouth and then tried to shame and victimize the family of the slain teen who was actually a victim of the crime. Before I wrap it up here, here's something that I have a concern about. The initial GiveSendGo was launched to fund legal fees and a myriad of other expenses such as relocation, security, and things like that. But those donations exceeded $500,000. Why are we coming back for a second round of funding? Like, did the Karmelo Anthony family assume that they could just come back and ask for more money because they've already penetrated the hearts and minds of Black America and got them on board with the narrative? Mind you, we've never heard the Karmelo family assert his innocence. We've never heard them do that. A family that is asserting that their loved one is innocent and they want to provide him with good legal defense are going to spend that money on the best legal team possible. All of this other stuff, I'm sorry, I smell a rat. I just do. Because if you are appealing to the court for indigent status and you are 9 times out of 10 going to end up with a public defender, that says to me that you are not really invested in the aggressive legal defense of doing everything that you can to ensure that your loved one is provided with adequate legal representation. I just don't believe that you believe that he's innocent enough and has a good shot at winning. To me, this sounds as if the family is using the money for other things. What those other things are, I do not know. But the fact that the family had the audacity to come back and ask for more money without giving an account, right? Giving an account to the people who've already donated. If you donate money now at this point, then you deserve to get got. Like, at some point, you got to open up your eyes and realize when you have been taken advantage of. And that this is just one of those situations that I believe is happening. But I'm curious to know, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that inflation is just so high that $500,000 literally just went toward legal defense, security, relocation, and starting a brand new life, and now they need more money for the legal defense? Or do you believe, okay, if they legitimately raised the money for legal defense, they should have used most of that money, put things in order of priorities? It sounds like somebody's priorities are messed up. But I don't know what to think. I just know something doesn't make sense. And for this family to appeal and ask for more money, and this amount is so arbitrary. It's very arbitrary, 1.3. Typically with the GiveSendGo or GoFundMe, people will articulate, they may not itemize everything, but there is a little bit more transparency in terms of what they're asking for and why. What type of security did you need that you've run out of money now, and now you need a total of 1.3 in order to provide legal expense? Well, we don't even know if the money's for legal expenses because you're applying with the court for indigent status. And correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all probably can correct me if I'm wrong. If the indigent status means you don't have any money, you're probably relying on a public defender, which means you're not going to get the greatest legal defense, which means y'all don't really give a darn about this boy. And at this point, you guys are preparing for a future of having to have yourself taken care of because you don't believe that the outcome of this case is going to be favorable toward you. I don't know. Whichever side of this story you land on, I am curious to know, what do you guys think? I need you to leave me a comment down in the comments box below. We're going to talk about it. You know, I know this was a very sensitive, a lot of people were emotionally charged over this case. For one, I wasn't donating my money. I tried to keep my commentary above board, but it didn't seem right from the beginning. And now it really doesn't seem right. But whatever side of this discussion you land on, let me know down in the comments below. Stand firm, stay rooted, and above all else, stay unshakable. Until next time, you guys, grace and peace.
Like you tried to do the joke.
Oh, Lord, I look like Incredible Hulk, all this green. I'm green. You know, I got green undertones in my skin. Everything look green. It's all right. It's okay. It's all right. Okay. Yeah. Are you gonna switch cams? Oh, okay. Hey, look at that. Alrighty. I'm short on my bracelet. It's well, pass me that mango. Yeah. That's okay. I'm gonna mention that you in the background. I'm like, Vince over here showing out. Y'all better get him.